Hello dear viewers, thank you for tuning in to our news program today. I'll bring to you the news headlines. The island nation of Madagascar has a dubious accolade. It is the world leader in deforestation. In recent days, some of the island's teenagers have started a farming revolution, working to stop food production from destroying the island's rich rainforests. The situation has become so dire that a group of Malagasy and international scientists have come together to urge the new government here to take steps to preserve the country's famous biodiversity. As Madagascar's recently elected President Andry Rajoelina begins a 5-year term of office, scientists and conservationists have spent decades studying and protecting Madagascar's natural habitats. Hope that this will be a turning point. They say this is the last chance to prevent habitats and species unique to this island nation from being lost forever. Cyclone Fani has caused extensive damage in Bangladesh, despite awakening as it blew north from India. More than 1,000 homes have been destroyed and entire village submerged in the South Asian country. At least 5 people died and 63 were injured, with more than 1 million people evacuated to safety. The director of Bangladesh Meteorological Department said fear of a major disaster is almost over. Boeing admitted that it knew about a problem with its 737 MAX jets a year before the aircraft was involved in 2 fatal accidents, but took no action. The firm said it had inadvertently made an alarm feature option instead of standard, but insisted that this did not jeopardize flight safety. All 737 MAX planes were grounded in March after an Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed, killing 157 people. 5 months earlier, 189 people were killed in a Lion Air crash. The worldwide fleet of 737 MAX planes totaled 387 aircraft at the time of the grounding. At least 50 people were killed in Niger's capital, Niamey, after an oil tank exploded earlier on Monday morning. The tanker overturned near the main airport and the victims were siphoning fuel when the explosion occurred. The Director General of Niger's Civil Protection, Colonel Major Abubakar Bako, said at least 30 people have been taken to hospital, and he added the Prime Minister and several other ministers visited the scene this morning and went to see some of the injured in the hospital. The most comprehensive report yet looking at the worldwide loss of biodiversity is expected to warn that 1 million species face extinction. The UN-backed report, due to the published shortly in Paris, draws on thousands of pieces of evidence to reveal the scale of declining wildlife and habitat loss. 600 conservation experts have signed an open letter calling on world leaders to act decisively to halt damage to the natural world, stop climate change, and ensure food security. To do this, it says humans must radically change the way we live, including how we use power, grow food, and manage our waste. Children are among over 2,000 African migrants rounded up and detained in a football stadium in Yemen, an official for the International Organization for Migration said. Olivia Hedon, International Organization for Migration spokesperson in Yemen, said the migrants, predominantly from Ethiopia, Somalia, and Djibouti, are being held in Aden, Abiyan, and Laj in southern Yemen. She said that the migrants were on their way to Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries and were apprehended at military checkpoints and brought to football stadiums and military camps. South Africa is for high levels of crime. All the main parties agreed it is a problem. The governing African National Congress, in power since 1994, accepts the situation. in its manifesto published ahead of the general election on 8th May, says that drugs, violence and gang activity are wreaking havoc in many communities. Gender-based violence and reached crisis proportions, it also stated. In its manifestos for the last election, 2014, the ANC had promised, "We will work to further reduce levels of crime, especially contact crime like murder, rape and grievous bodily harm." Over the last few days, many people have been trying to work out whether Ramadan will affect the dynamics at the sit-in outside the military headquarters in Sudan's capital, Khartoum. Negotiators for the civilian protesters had been keen on agreeing a deal with the military council before Ramadan began. The generals no doubt hoped that attendance at the sit-in will drop during the holy month, with some people spending time with family and not willing to face a long day under the fiery Sudanese sun without food and water. The protesters' power comes from their presence outside the military headquarters. Muslims in many parts of the world started the Islamic holy month of Ramadan on Sunday evening. However, in some countries like Morocco, Ramadan started on Monday evening. Morocco's Ministry of Religious Affairs said the moon had not been sighted in the country on Sunday evening. Ramadan is regarded as the most sacred month in the Islamic calendar, when Muslims say extra prayers at night and fast from dawn to sunset if they are in good health. Center-left candidate Laurentino Cortizo was declared the winner of Panama's presidential elections. In an unexpected close race, Mr. Cortizo finished 2% points ahead of his center-right rival, Romulo Rose. Mr. Rose has yet to concede, citing reports of voting irregularities. The elections were dominated by pledges to fight corruption and to tackle Panama's image as money laundering country. The country's electoral tribunal says 95% of ballots have been counted, with Mr. Cortizo winning 33.1% of votes, followed by Mr. Rose with 33%. Official results are expected to be announced on Thursday, though the tribunal said the result was irreversible, despite a close margin of fewer than 40,000 votes. The 2019 Satellite Conference kicked off on Monday, with more than 15,000 attendants expected to join the four-day gathering of industry leaders. Turkish firms, including Turksat, TUSAS, Arsan and Profane, are among the 340 exhibitors who will be showing off their latest cutting-edge wares. Vejit Gonur, the chairman of executive board of Turkish communication satellite operator Turksat, said technologies have begun to develop rapidly with the emergence of the digital world, but stressed satellite technologies are developing much faster than other fields. It is essential to announce the name of Turkey in the sector, Gonur said, referring to satellite technologies. Turkey's Supreme Electoral Council announced yesterday that a do-over election in Istanbul will be held on June 23rd. The council members accepted the ruling Justice and Development Act party's objection to the local election results in Istanbul, with 7 votes in favor and 4 against. According to the Turkey's Supreme Election Council, the decision was taken as some presiding officers and polling staffs who have supported to be civil servants as per Turkish law serving during the elections. The mayoral certificate of the main opposition Republican People's Party CHP, Ekrem İmamoğlu, also been cancelled by the council. Millions of South Africans are going to the polls to elect a new government that they hope will address high levels of corruption, unemployment, crime and poverty. Nearly all political parties vying for this week's parliamentary and provisional seats have pledged to end corruption and reduce crime and unemployment, which are major challenges in Africa's most industrialized economy. Moscow does not exclude the possibility of US intervention in Venezuela, but hopes Washington will abstain from the option, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said over the weekend. Speaking to a joint news conference following the meeting with the Venezuelan counterpart, George Areza, in Moscow, Lavrov said the US President Donald Trump did not voice the option of a military intervention in Venezuela in a phone talk with Russian President Vladimir Putin on May 3rd. This is not the first time that representatives of the US administration declare that all options, including the military one, are on the table. Global renewable capacity growth stalled in 2018 after nearly 2 decades of strong annual growth, according to the International Energy Agency yesterday. Renewables around the world added as much net capacity in 2018 as they did in 2017. However, capacity growth in 2018 failed to increase year on year for the first time since 2001. The net capacity from solar PV, wind, hydro, bioenergy, and other renewable powers sources increased by about 180 gigawatts in 2018, equivalent to the previous year. A wildfire in South Sudan's northwest has killed over 48 people and injured 68 others, an official said yesterday. Mathol Wali, Information Minister of the Northwestern Lord State, said that the flames, fanned by strong winds on Sunday night, devastated the villages in Koroko country, devouring 138 homes and killing about 1,000 cattle. The fire killed 48 and the death toll may rise. 68 people are injured, Wali said, adding majority of the victims were children and the elderly. The minister blamed strong winds for the blaze and ruled out arson, saying a lot of houses were burnt within a short time span. Nigeria's worsening security situation is caused by increasing poverty rate, inadequate manpower, and a large swath of ungoverned spaces that criminal gangs have long occupied, according to security experts in the country. A lack of persistent government control for the past decade has ensured that these bandits are now unencouraged. Furani Nasrullah, Executive Director of the Conflict Studies and Analysis Project at Global Initiative for Civil Stability, Nasrullah said the lack of effective policing of the countryside has created a vacuum and led to armed groups and criminal gangs taking over villages and carving out territories. Thank you so much for being with us. You can check our social medias of Natural Television or send us messages on our WhatsApp number written on your screen. My name is Sauda Muganga and you're watching Natural Television from Ankara in Turkey. Ramadan Karim.